Well, let me start with our gathering words here. The ancient Israelites believed that their fields and properties were gifts of God and that they were simply stewards of them. Because of this, they did God-people things with them, like leaving the corners of their fields and crop for the hungry, or welcoming the stranger and refugee into their homes. And so today we remember and give thanks that our church property, or our field, if you will, is also a gift of God, and we too are called to do God-people things with it. And with that, our Deacon of Grounds, Kevin Ingalls, is going to share about all the different projects that we've done for the past couple years.
Trey and I knew that we were going to dedicate after we got all our projects done, so he asked me to come up with a detail of what I might say about the projects. We were faced with many challenges in this process. Obviously, COVID-19 happened through all of this. We had the unfortunate pastor passing away. All of these challenges made it difficult for us to take the opportunity to dedicate anything. So we didn't, as far as I know, formally dedicate any of the jobs that we had done. So I made this short list for Trey, and I was just blown away in 6 years, all the things that we've done. They all ran together, so hopefully I can bring you up to where we are. Well, at long last, we are coming to the close of these much needed renovations to our sanctuary. It was Pastor Bruce's vision for our church early in 2019 that we should have a kitchen rework so that our daycare could provide a warm meal for the children in our successful daycare ministry, as well as to be able to serve the needs of the congregation. After 58 years, the sanctuary was long overdue for many physical upgrades. Along with the renovation of the kitchen and the bathrooms, and after presentations to the consistory, it was decided that we would also add on to the bathroom renovation accommodations for the pastor and the administrative assistant. This would provide for better staff working and communication needs going forward, as well as provide secure storage of all church business records and documents. It was decided through discussions during consistory meetings that moving our nursery to one of the classrooms in the daycare would also be the sensible solution. Sarah Hewist, Sunday school director, and Carol Grasso, our daycare director, came up with a plan to share a room for our nursery program. That included the Sunday school record storage for Sunday school educational needs. We started working with Pastor Bruce on the kitchen renovation toward the end of 2019, after I had become a member of the consistory. We met and overcame many challenges during the process. Because of the size of the project, we were forced to get town approval with permits from the town of Colonie. You see, we are a commercial property with a functioning daycare program which needed more improvements than just cabinets attached to a wall. As with all of our projects over the last 6 years, getting town approval has turned out to be one of the largest obstacles. Well, in 2019, Karen and I were surfing for church, and we came to the CRCC and met the most wonderful pastor that we had ever encountered. Just like you, all of you who have been here before, Bruce was larger than life. He was the man that you just could not turn down. He was outgoing, personable, all of these things all in one. But Bruce had a problem. He just did not have the right person to do what he wanted to get done, or had not identified the right person that he wanted to get this done. So along I come. I become a member of this church in early 2019, and I become a member of the consistory in the latter part of 2019. And I think that is a record for churches somewhere. Well, Bruce asked me to help him with some of these necessary projects, and he thought that I had that talent to do it. Now, all through this process, all through this conversation, I want to say that my theme has always been, at the end of my prayers for the world, I always include that my faith in God means that he's going to send the right person at the right time and put them in the right place. Now, whether that's the same as it is in scriptures, I don't know, but I'll use a little, Well, Bruce asked me, and I did exactly what many people faced with that situation do. I said, "Are you out of your mind?" No, I wasn't going to do it. But you couldn't refuse Bruce. Bruce knew he could turn himself into a person that you just could not say no to. So the rest is history. After getting permits, we started demolition and construction. It was somewhere during this time period that Pastor Bruce was diagnosed with his terminal cancer. And it was also at this point that the church was in a virtual shutdown mode due to the COVID-19 crisis. By the time things opened up again, kitchen renovation was long since completed. And somewheres in the midst of this kitchen renovation, or soon after, we encountered a failure of one of our 25-year-old HVAC furnaces. Now, at 3 o'clock in the morning, Carol Grasso and myself all received calls from the alarm company that we had smoke in the building. Again, this was early in my career as grounds and maintenance, and I said, oh my gosh. It was zone 7, so we knew where it was going to be, and it was right in this area. As I got dressed and ran to the church, I was remembering people telling me about the last furnace malfunction you had had. And I was just, oh my Lord. Our heating contractor advised us that our units were getting harder and harder to maintain because part availability was becoming hard to find. With this information, the consistory decided that replacement of 3 units was the prudent thing to do. This was a project that was occurring soon after the completion of the kitchen renovation. This project was completed during 2021, while at the same time we were also working on updating the sign along the Waterville Shaker Road to an electronic LED sign. This project, again, required permits, and it was laborious. It took a long time to complete. We had many hurdles to overcome. We had electrical that we had to put out there. We had permits which we had to get. We had to work with sign guy Peter. And that's how we knew him, sign guy Peter. He provided us with the sign. Lori and Sarah, I think, had worked on contacting this man, but this person had a tremendous difficulty working with women. It just didn't mesh. So I ended up getting involved in the end stages of this project after the permits. One of the first things that we did, however, during this phase of the process was, my biggest fear was permits and dealing with the town of Colonie. So we asked Scott and Anna Reynolds, both of whom were members of this church, who had the talent, the degrees, and it could help us get our permits. And that was the beginning of a relationship that was, again, the right person at the right time and put in the right place. And it all worked. They did all of that. And again, the project did complete that year. Well, it was now 2022. I presented to the consistory the need to renovate the shed that is located in the parking lot, which was in bad shape. The consistory agreed to the renovation of the shed in the parking lot, which would provide secure storage, along with the needed electrical upgrades to the parking lot lights. If we had done nothing, it would have fallen down and the parking lot lighting would be hard-pressed to continue illumination. And that's one thing I didn't want, because already I was getting calls frequently about, Kevin, the lights don't work again. Kevin. So with that in mind, it was decided that we would go ahead with that renovation and also at the same time update the cable which had severed somehow underground that fed the lights to the parking lot. The lights were in the building, so it made sense to do it all at once, and we did it. We had completed this upgrade during the summer of 2023, and towards the end of 2023, we were once again ready to start the planning for the final renovation of the bathrooms and offices. At the start of the church year in September of 2024, we started planning the bathroom project. The committee at this time was myself, our architect, Anna and Scott Reynolds, and Pastor Bob Hoffman, who was the interim pastor and my right-hand man through that process. He was here whenever I needed to ask a question. He was here whenever I needed to have somebody to meet with the architects, the engineers, to bounce concepts off of. Again, the right person at the right time in the right place. I can't get it. That's a senior thing. We're supposed to practice that, you know. Okay. And of course, the consistory at large. All the committee I had was always bringing it back to the consistory, and the consistory would make, recommendations and stuff like that as part of the committee. By December of 2024, we had the building permits, we had the blueprints, and we were ready to start. We had been in contact with our building contractor, Durini Builders, all through this process. Now, we had used Durini Builders for all of our projects to date, and he prepared a contract for starting renovation in June of 2025. Durini Builders is a local contractor here in Latham, and he has been instrumental. When we started the kitchen, we didn't have any building permits. He said, Kevin, he says, I really think that you ought to get permits. One of the other intricacies of permits is if you don't have them and the town finds out about it, you can't go in that building. So it's something that you have to deal with. You can't just walk through it and not do it. Soon after beginning, we thought it would be prudent to have the construction site tested for carcinogens and other dust-related exposure because construction would be happening while the daycare was in session. Dominic and I were not prepared for that. It didn't occur to us because we thought it was just a regular construction site. And we're all carpenters. We work around dust all day long. No big deal. But he said, Kevin, you got a daycare. I go, oy vey. So, asbestos was found in areas where the construction would be done. The asbestos removal and remediation process delayed the project for nearly 2 months, but we finished the construction of the bathroom and offices in November of 2025. We ran into many hidden obstacles during construction, as you always do. You cannot do a project of this size and not have change orders, or workarounds, because you don't see everything. Behind the wall, there are mysteries all over. In the kitchen, we ended up doing a large electrical renovation combined with the cabinets. You can't, as I said, you can't do anything. We ran into hidden obstacles that we had to overcome: asbestos remediation, bearing wall, footing installation, fire separation that the town engineers decided we needed, replacement of windows. We opened up the windows in pastor's office and one of the sash fell out. So unexpected. We thought sure we were going to be able to get by with the windows we had. No way. So, of course, the largest and most prevalent of problems with the bathrooms was the porta potty revolution and uprising. You are not going to believe this one. I forgot the difference, basic difference between male and female. You know, women are from Venus, men are from Mars. Women, sugar and spice are everything nice, and men, snaps and snails and puppy dog tails. Well, I didn't realize that porta potties were not going to work until we got go time. We were ready, contractors were ready, everything was ready to go. I said to the ladies, the porta potty over by the shed is where you guys are going to go to the bathroom. And they said, are you out of your mind? And I said, what? She said, we are not going to use porta potties. You better come up with a solution. And I said, okay. So I went home that night, didn't sleep at all, trying to figure out how am I going to overcome this. I said I could buy one of those big trailers that you can put for when you have a large event that had men and women, but the toilets would have to be flush toilets and they heated and those were tens of thousands of dollars. So that wasn't going to work. So I said, what can we do? Finally, it came to me about 4 in the morning that I think we have an adult toilet in the little girl's room there that was part of the original church renovation. And I said, maybe I can put a door on it. I said, we've got lots of doors that were taken off. I'm sure we can make it. Well, long story short, that worked and saved my neck. I was the hero once again. All right, the total. What do you think? What do you think in 6 years you have accomplished as a congregation? You and the consistory have sponsored this event, and it's come to nearly $400,000. Is that not an astronomical thing? I couldn't believe that we had done that much and barely started. So hang on to your hats, fasten your seatbelts. There's probably going to be more as we go down this road.
First, I want to say a mentor of mine once told me that the hardest part in ministry sometimes is adequately saying thank you. And so I think about Kevin and all of your sleepless nights, all the ways, all the projects weigh on you, and you've been thrust into this with COVID and other challenges, and it is really hard to sufficiently say thank you. But can we give Kevin just a round of applause? And on behalf of the congregation,
thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And on behalf of the congregation, we got you a gift for you and Karen. Hopefully you could use it as it's a gift card to bed and breakfasts all over New England. And so you can go away and not think about toilets or assembling furniture or other things like that and just have a restful time sometime that suits your schedule. So thank you again, Kevin.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I wouldn't have done it if I didn't want to do it. I had more enjoyment than I had frustration. Let's put it that way. I love challenges. I'm a crisis junkie, so it doesn't really bother me, all these things. Thank you again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you want, am I staying?
Well, I'll do it. And then one other thing before, just a few things. We talked about some money. Some things that you might not know is that we received 2 generous grants for different types of these projects, one from the classis, one from the General Synod of the Reformed Church. And part of our projects, as Kevin says, aren't fully done yet. We are planning to replace our doors, and maybe that will be through a classis grant, or a classis grant might go to a different project, but that's on the horizon. And there's one other thing, which is quote unquote my office. I told the consistory that when I first got here, I really loved the idea that the church could have a space that was just dedicated to the church, where fellowship can happen, Bible studies, praying for one another, other types of classes and learning. And so my office from now on is not called my office. I told them it's going to be called the koinonia room, which is a Greek word for communion and fellowship and joint partnership. And in there's a TV if you wanted to Zoom someone in. There's a microwave and a refrigerator. There'll be coffee and tea and a whiteboard. And it really would very much warm my heart if you really used it. And so don't be like, oh, this is Trey's office. No, it's the koinonia room. And it's for you and your spiritual growth and fellowship with one another. And so with that, we will say our prayer, and you can go and explore these places if you haven't already. But let's use this prayer and song. God, you are the source of every blessing, even our church facilities. For every good and perfect gift is from above. You bless us with devoted volunteers and leaders, and we give thanks for them. For they know that the plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance. So today, as we dedicate and bless these renovation projects, we ask in the words of the psalmist, establish the work of our hands. Like you, our host, who prepares a table of abundance before us, may our new kitchen serve children and guests alike, so that all may taste and see your abundant hospitality. Like the spirit wind of Pentecost, may our new HVAC system deliver fresh and renewing air to all. Like a lamp set high to give light to the whole house, may our new sign glorify you because it shines with our good deeds. Like the little tents your people set up in the wilderness, may our new shed be a shelter for our work and journey with you. Like John the Baptist who prepared the way of the Lord, may our new welcome way lead to changed hearts and lives. Like the field whose harvest is the fruits of the Spirit, may our new offices yield a harvest of fruitful, Spirit-filled ministry. Like the Christians in Acts who devoted themselves to learning and fellowship, may our koinonia room be a space for growing and fellowship. Like how you wash us clean and renew our purpose in the waters of baptism, may our new washer-dryer room clean and renew all that's washed there. Like you who invite us to rest, may our new accessible and welcoming restrooms refresh all who enter. Let's rise to sing the first verse of God whose giving knows no ending.
God whose giving knows no ending, from your rich and endless store, nature's wonder, Jesus' wisdom, costly cross, grave shattered door. Gifted by you, we turn to you, offering up ourselves in praise. Thankful song shall rise forever, gracious door.